Hi everyone, I'm Scott Schneider. This is StereoNiche. And this week it's a rather short video, but I thought it would be something kind of interesting, so stick around. All right, so this week it's a bit of a short video. I am traveling this week and I just didn't have time to put into a full video like I normally would do. But this week I think it'll be kind of fun. I'm a longtime collector, and not everything I have collected came from an individual or they were just an audiophile and I bought their system. Sometimes I have bought some inventory from old repair shops or stores that closed down many years ago. So as part of that, I've acquired, some accessories, things that a consumer would use and would have bought from a store to then take them home and use it, for their system. And so I thought I would showcase some of those because these are some tools that are from around the late 1950s and kind of look interesting compared to what we are familiar with later in the history of audio. So I thought I would walk through those and give you some ideas on some of the tools that the consumer would have bought back then to play the records and maintain things. So I'm going to go through that with you and show you each one of those. At the end of the video, I've decided to do something new, and that is to showcase your systems. So stay tuned at the end of the video for that section, and I'll talk through how I would like to go through that and how I would like for you guys to submit pictures of your systems, and so I'll showcase them here on the show. So stick around, hope you enjoy it. All right, so let's take a look at one of the first items, and this is a record cleaner. So this thing attaches apparently to the tone arm and provided triple record cleaning action. This is the Robbins Disc Whisk Kit. So it looks like you were supposed to attach this to the front of the tone arm, and with a couple of brushes here, pick up, I guess, lint and dust and things from your record. So you clip it to the tone arm. It provides convenient tone arm lift to prevent needless scratching of records. Has a soft record brush, sweeps dust and foreign particles from the record grooves, has a mohair cylinder that applies anti-static lubricant to records during playing for better fidelity, and a stylish brush for safety and convenient cleaning. Okay, well, this is pretty interesting, huh? So as the record spins, you have this little roller way out there and a smaller brush that's, I guess, getting down into the grooves. Can't say I think this is or was the best way to clean your records, but anyway, that's what apparently they were offering at the time. So apparently it looks like this attached to your tone arm this way. And then this was able to be lifted up out of the way if you didn't want that. And you could have the brush, or I guess you could just lift both of them out of the way. Quite a contraption here. Look at that. Came with a nice little bottle of cleaning solution as well. So here were the assembly instructions on attaching it to your tone arm. And this tone arm looks to be rather substantial. So I'm thinking this is back when we had wood tone arms. And it looks like there was some kind of groove so it looks like it may have been made for a special tone arm. And it also included a small little brush here for cleaning your stylus. So. Which I've actually have some other. This is from probably the late 50s time frame, I'm guessing. And then this is the other kind of little tone arm or stylus cleaner, that brush that I've typically seen from the 70s time frame. I think most of us are familiar with these. You know, it retracts in this little holder here, and it's a very dense, packed group of little hairs here, little fibers, and this is what I think most of us have seen, but I've not seen one like this before. Kind of interesting. So next up, we have a stylus brush that you actually mount to your table. And this has a little base here, and there's a double sticker on the bottom where you peel that off and then stick it to your table. And then it looks like as you moved your arm over to the table, you could just sort of casually place it over the little brush here, clean off your stylus before you get to the record. So it was there in position every time. Interesting little device. I've seen similar type things mounted on turntables over the years, but they've sort of deteriorated over time. The ones I've always seen were sort of some kind of plastic, and they sort of, the plastic sort of just deteriorated over time, and I was never quite sure what it originally looked like. This one's a little more robust looking. It's a metal base, which is adjustable. You would, gives you a little bit of an extension thing here to make it a little higher if you need to before mounting it to your plinth. But kind of interesting device from the 50s. So next up is a stylus pressure gauge here to set the grams, basically the weight of your stylus on your tone arm. Now this one, I've never seen one like this. Ones I've seen are a little bit different, and they have a little mirror in them and things. So this one's kind of cool. I'll show you the picture up close, but this one has a little weight, and you take the weight and you put it inside the little hole here for the weight that you want to, I guess, get as close to. It starts at 2 grams, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, you know, pretty heavy pressure here that it would go up to, starting at 2. So this is certainly heavier than I think what we're used to mostly today, but kind of cool and interesting looking. You can adjust to within 1/2 gram, can be made by reversing the counterweight and balancing it between the holes. So you were to, it wasn't as accurate, you know, as it could have been. So you were to take the little weight and turn the nipple side upside down and balance it, measure it in between the 2 holes. So you get your to your 2.5 grams and 3.5, etc. So that's an early stylus gauge. Well, the last thing is that I wanted to showcase here is not something related to records, but actually tape. And even myself, I'd never actually used tape and spliced them or did anything with tape for the most part, except for cassettes, which you never had to splice. But for reel-to-reel, on the reel-to-reels, if you're not familiar, there was to get them started, you had 2 reels. You would put the one that you were going to listen to on, and then you'd have to thread it through the mechanism, of course, and then bring it through and bring it into the empty reel on the other side, your take-up reel. And so on the beginning of the tape, it wasn't recordable, it was called a leader. And so this leader tape was just for the purpose of threading it through a little slot on the reel, and you would put it in there and then you'd tighten it up. And so that leader was just, you know, for that purpose. But eventually, over time, I guess, it would wear out and you might need to replace that leader ahead of the taped recording part. So you could buy something called leader tape. And so this was meant to be that beginning part of the tape that was not recorded on, but was just meant to start the, you know, wrapping it around the take-up reel. So you could actually buy this, and you would have what was called a little splicing machine. I don't know if everyone used that or not, or if you just, you know, it was easy enough to do on your table. But you would actually, or you could buy a little machine that sort of kept things even and straight, and run it through there and cut, and then it would help you sort of tape them together very evenly. So, so this was leader tape, and this was for 1/4 inch tape, not the you know, any larger tape. But this was 100 feet of it. So I guess you had quite a bit. And I'm not sure how long that would last, but I'm sure it would last most of us a good while. So the last thing I wanted to show you is just something that I found in this group lot of old repair shop stuff. It wasn't just something that was sold to consumer, it was what they used to fix some of the gear. And it's a bit rare, I believe. I don't think you'd find or have a hard time finding it, but it's an original early small box from Thoren's, and it's a little box of lubricant. And it was for the Thoren's TD124, 134, 184, and the TDK 101. And this is turntable lubricant kit made in Switzerland. And so I thought it was quite cool. And inside were a few lubricants. This is a very tiny bottle of Regal Oil B. In addition to that is an even smaller bottle. And this is the, well, if I'm going to pronounce this right, Rotorsil X58. So I guess you use this very sparingly. It's not a lot here, very tiny bottle. And then lastly, a small little case. Looks like it would be lip balm. But this is actually Caltex. And so inside here it's a little hard, looks like a wax, but it's a lubricant that you would use for, you know, certain parts and components for the turntable. So quite cool. It's definitely not something that you would see very often, and I just wanted to show you guys some of the, you know, small little kits that you would buy from manufacturers to service the gear. All right, so I thought I would start something new for the channel. Back a month and a half or two ago, I did a video about the future of the channel and what I was going to keep doing, and then I was looking for some ideas on some new things I could do. And one of the things recommended, and it's something I've thought about before, was to showcase some systems from you guys. So if you guys would like for me to showcase your system on the channel, send me some pictures. You know, set up your system, straighten things up a bit, make it as presentable as you can. Take some good pictures and, you know, make it well lit so that I can, you know, showcase those and give it the best presentation that I can. And then tell me a little bit about it. Tell me if you're a collector and it's a collection, you know, take several pictures, show me, you know, what you can, and then give me a little history. Are there certain things you collect? Are there certain types of gear you collect? What you like about, you know, collecting. If it's a system, you know, some close-up shots of some of the components, a good overall shot if you can, and then, you know, tell me about your system. Have you had it since new? Did you get into vintage audio maybe just a few years ago? You know, some details I can share with everyone, you know, about your system or your collection. So I'll try to do these at least once a month, and maybe it's one system, maybe it's several, depends how many I get. And I'll try to put those together at least on a monthly basis, and I'll give you a heads up if I get to use that in one of the videos. So looking forward to doing that. Send those through and I'll start putting those into a future video. All right, well, there you go. I thought you might get a kick out of some of those accessories. I think by today's standards, or at least by the 1980s standards, some of those were looking pretty rough. That little record cleaner kit kind of didn't look too friendly to me. I'm not sure how well it treated the records, but those were the sorts of things that you know, enthusiasts were finding on the shelves. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I've seen those little stylus cleaners, I'll say, on quite a few plinths over the years, but they had been broken, and I never saw one that was fully intact. So finding one in the container or in the cardboard was kind of unique. It was the first time I had seen what they actually looked like. They were usually just a little mounting thing on the, you know, like a stud, and that was all I could see. I didn't see the rest of it. So I thought that was kind of cool. The stylus gauge, you know, they were much heavier much more mass to the early tone arms. So that was a pretty rugged stylus gauge. So those things were kind of cool. Hope you appreciated those. Looking forward to seeing your systems. Send those through at your convenience, and I'm looking forward to that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this week. As always, if you want to make sure you don't miss an episode, hit subscribe. If you want to get notified, hit that bell. And as always, thank you guys for tuning in.